Chapter 4. Yes to the Sun. They want you to be on Kimmel. My publicist, Chris DeLauro, is talking to me. Yes, I have a publicist. A publicist sounds like an I'm on the cover of Vogue kind of thing to have. The kind of thing you have if you are luminous like Jennifer Lawrence or stop traffic every time you move like Lupita Nyong'o. As I write this, my hair is standing straight up on my head because it's been a few days since I combed it, and I'm wearing a pair of pajamas where the top of the bottom do not match, not even the same fabric. The bottoms are silky and the top is stretchy knit. There's a hole in the knee of the pajamas. Hello, Vogue? Yeah, I have the publicist. When I first got a publicist, I told him and his team that my main reason for having a publicist was so I never ever had to do any publicity. Everyone thought it was a joke. I was not joking. It seems being that everyone would around me knows that I'm awkward, introverted, and visibly uncomfortable when meeting new people. And it would be kind of not obvious that I would be panicked at the thought of standing on a stage talking to an audience. Having my photo taken by hordes of photographers, being on TV, making a public appearance of any kind, really. You'd get that it would probably not be my favorite thing, right? You would, gentle reader, wouldn't you? This is because you don't work in Hollywood. In Hollywood, it is assumed that a person who would be excited about a spotlight shining right on their face while they sat on a toilet on live TV. I joke, right? No, still not joking. Seriously, I think, given the chance, there are plenty of people in Hollywood who would line up to do it. They'll line up for a casting session that read, person on toilet. Why? Why? For the exposure, for the endorsement opportunity. I could have my own line of toilets you have never know, they say, and plop down on the pearlescent throne. When I met you, let's hold hands and swap we for humans. When I meet you, let's hold hands and we for humanity, okay? The terrifying existence of willing public toilet sitters. And this town is why my publicist, Chris, is generally confused when I say I never want publicity. He tells me that I will change my mind. In the world of greatness, greatest singer ever, Whitney Houston, on the greatest reality show that ever was, being Bobby Brown, hell to the nah. Even if I was Beyonce, even if I woke up like that, I would still prefer to stay hidden. I would still want to quietly write script back here in the corner where no one would see me. I never want anyone looking at me. Being looked at makes me nervous. When I'm required by ABC to do publicity, I often feel and sadly look like Bambi's mother right before the hunter shoots her. Her head snapped up, ears cocked, eyes wide, all freaked out. It's an attractive look. At Dartmouth, I acted in some plays for a student theater group named Buta. I enjoyed it. I sort of relieved in it. I was even mildly decent at it. I got compliments, but I wasn't me. I never had to step in front of an audience as Shonda Rhimes. My own words and thoughts were not needed. I just said whatever Nicholas Chang or George C. Wolfe or Shakespeare told me to say. No one was looking at me. They were looking through me to the writers. I never felt I was visible on stage. Back then, I had fun in front of the audience. But now, it didn't matter, the venue or the medium. Now, it was always akin to torture. And season after season, the TCAs were a prime torture method. Every year, twice a year, all the cable and network channels host a week-long event for TV critics called, quite simply, TCAs. It's a chance for critics to talk to actors, showrunners, directors. More times than I can count, ABC has requested my presence on a TCA panel. On stage doing a panel at TCAs, I know I always looked fine. In fact, I looked stern, like a scolding schoolwoman. I've seen all the photos. I'm frowning, stony. I'm actually amazed by the face ability to not betray my inner turmoil. The extreme fear seemed to freeze my face, turning me into a statue to protect me while on stage. But beforehand, every single time, before I got to that stage, there was a mumbling, there was sweating, there was shaking. There was the makeup artist charged with reapplying the mascara that washed off my face after the silent 30-second crying jag required to quell my rising hysteria. There were executives from ABC who gathered around to say encouraging things as I paced back and forth, my glassy eyeballs spitting with fear. And then there was the quenching bottle of red wine always given to me by the Nordic president who owned a vineyard, because I never spoke in public without 2 glasses of wine in my system. Nature's beta blockers. I'm not saying that it was right. I'm saying that it worked. My only good memory of sitting on the TCA stage was the year Desperate Housewife creator Mark Sherry very kindly took pity on me during the showrunner's panel. As a storm of questions about an unhappy actress came my way, he jumped in, answering and deflecting the worst of them with a series of amazing jokes. 20 minutes before, someone, I don't remember who, had been forced to pry my fingers off the door handle of my car to get me inside. I hadn't been resting. I had just been frozen by fear and unable to move. I was a walking panic attack. My stage fright was so complete and overwhelming that it ruled my every public appearance. Award acceptance speeches, interviews, talk shows, Oprah. I have been interviewed by Oprah 3 times. Here's what I remember about being interviewed by Oprah. A white hot flashing light behind my eyes, a strange numbness in my limbs, a high-pitched buzzing sound in my head. So you all know, nothing. I'm from the suburb of Chicago. I was raised on Oprah. I was watching the Oprah Winfrey Show when it was called AM Chicago. I bought everything she had told us to buy and read everything she told us to read. I took notes on every word of wisdom she shared with us through the television. I was baptized Catholic, but I was Church of Oprah. If you're a person on the planet, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody knows it's Oprah. Being interviewed by Oprah was no small thing for me. What do I remember about these precious moments spent with her? Nothing. The O Magazine interview? Nothing. The Oprah Show interview with the cast of Grey's Anatomy? Zilch. The Oprah's Next Chapter interview with Kerry Washington? Not a damn thing. I do have vivid memories of moments just before these interviews. That first time, Grey's costume designer Mimi Milgard smothered my skirt and spun me around, checking to make sure I looked okay. Then she nodded with approval and pointed to a firm finger at me. Do not move until you see Oprah. She didn't have to tell me that. I couldn't have moved if I wanted to. I stood in the doorway of my office, swaying very slightly back and forth, my feet already hurting in their very first pair of monolobe Balkans. Don't know what those are. My mind was blank as a baby chicken. I felt the layer of sweat wash over me. Sweat. Robotically, I began raising and lowering my arms, hoping to keep giant circle pit stains from appearing and ruining all Mimi's pilchard work. Rise and lower, rise and lower, rise and lower. Flapping. I was flapping my arms. Now I looked like a baby chicken. It didn't matter. The rising terror thundering through me was growing louder and louder, taking me somewhere so far past fear that I felt almost serene. It was like listening to a sound so high-pitched that your eardrums ceased to be able to process it. The sound became silent. My screaming fear was so loud that it was silent. The baby chicken was losing its head. I watched as Oprah's black SUV rumbled onto the studio lawn. I watched Oprah's black SUV roll into the VIP parking space. I watched as first one woman and then a second woman climbed from the black SUV. The first woman so recognizable, so familiar, that I literally only had to see the tip of her foot hitting the ground to know it was Oprah. But the second woman, still flapping my sweaty arms, I stared. I couldn't identify the second woman. Who was it? And then arm flapping stopped. Gail, my brain freezed. That's Gail, sweet mother of television. I'm looking at both Oprah and Gail. And that is the last thing I remember before nothingness of terror stole all the fun away from me. How was it? My sisters Sandy and Dolores grilled me breathlessly on the phone later that evening. The one time I managed to impress my sisters, the one time, and I don't know. That is not what I did. Have you learned nothing about me since starting this book? No, you have. You know me. You know. I'm old and I like to lie. I did what I always do. Once Oprah got back in the SUV and drove away, I spent hours wandering around, casually asking anyone who witnessed even a second of Oprah's all about it, getting them to recap what they saw. It was a coping mechanism that had always worked for me. I was careful about it because when you go around asking people to tell you about yourself and sound like kind of a jerk, hey, tell me what I said. What was I like? Was I funny? Was I interesting? Tell me more about me talking to Oprah. Was it good? It's one thing for people to know you are nervous and have stage fright. There's this sympathetic to that. But how do you admit to people that you don't remember the biggest interview of your career? That's weird. You know what people would say about that? I'll tell you. People would say drugs. So I kept my mouth shut. It was the worst with Oprah. My admiration and fear merged into some sort of fireball of terror, so that the paintings were not just stolen off the walls of my brain, but burned down on the heap of ashes, never be recovered with everyone else. I stood a chance, a small chance, but to some degree, all the interviewers were scary. Every talk show was a blur. Every interview went away down the drain. I've been asked to be on Kimmel before. It makes sense that Jimmy Kimmel would want people from my show on his show because of the ratings. My TGIT show, that's how ABC promotes my Thursday night lineup shows. Thank God it's Thursday. Get good ratings. Good ratings are good for everyone. Here's why. My good ratings mean that when actors who are stars on my show are guests like Jimmy Kimmel Live, also on ABC, it's great for Jimmy's ratings too. What's great for us is great for Jimmy. That's what's called synergy. I know this because people say this word to me a lot. Then they give me meaningful looks. Synergy, meaningful look. I nod and smile, but between you and me, I think synergy sounds like the word one uses to define the calories two people burn of doing sex. Think about it. Synergy. Anyway, it turns out that Jimmy, who is a truly hilarious person, a very nice guy, and a great talk show host, doesn't just dislike us for our ratings. He actually really likes our show. I think he does anyway. He definitely likes the cast of our show. This year, he especially seems to love the cast of Scandal, which just is fine because the cast of Scandal loves Jimmy, and they enjoy being on the show. So each Thursday, actress like Kerry Washington and Katie Lowes gets dressed up and pay Jimmy and his studio audience a visit. They come back and tell me stories. They tell me how much fun it is to be on Jimmy's show. Tell me about the skits they do, the pranks they pull, the jokes they tell. It sounds fun. When I watch all on Jimmy Kimmel's Live on TV late at night, it looks fun. Yay for everyone. But for some reason, Jimmy now wants something more. For some reason, he wants me to be a guest on his show. Jimmy likes this idea. ABC likes this idea. My publicist likes this idea. I do not like this idea. No one cares. No one believes me. Because who doesn't want to be on TV? Quick, everyone climb on the toilet and roll camera. This year's Jimmy People. Every show has people. Kimmels are extraordinarily nice. Have asked a few times if I will be a guest on his show. They want you to be on Kimmel, my publicist Chris talking to me. We're on the phone, which is lucky for me because of the jail time that comes with the assault. You mean, I say tightly, Jimmy Kimmel Live? Uh-huh. He sounds nonchalant, casual, but he knows. He knows how I feel about publicity. He knows how I feel about being interviewed. He knows how I feel about being interviewed on TV. And he especially knows how I feel about live TV. You know what happens on live TV? Janis Jackson's Super Bowl boop happens on live TV. Adele Dazeem's happens on live TV. President Al Gore happens on live TV. You know what else happens on live TV? Shonda walking out to greet Jimmy instead of walking like a normal person. I trip over my own feet, falling and cracking my head on the corner of Jimmy's desk, casually causing my cerebral spine fluid to leak out as I lie twitching on the ground with my dress punched up around my waist, relieving my double spandex on national audience. Shonda under the hot lights of the studio and massively overcome by nerve, sweating so profusely that tsunamis of water rolled down my face in a hideous but fascinating car crash way that no one can look away from until finally dehydrated. From the water loss, I simply end the misery by fainting on the floor in front of Jimmy's desk. Shonda doing what I did at my UPenn applicant mixer when the stuffy old host said, "I'm not going to give you a lot of buffalo about our school." What did I do? What I did was surrounded by a lot of prep school kids with blonde hair and perfect clothes, burst into loud, uncontrollable, snorting, howling laughter. Needless to say, I did not attend UPenn. Don't smirk. I got in, but I couldn't go there. One of those rich blonde kids was gonna see me on campus and tell everyone about the snorting, howling laughter. I do that when I'm nervous, so imagine what it'd be like when I'm extremely nervous, live with Jimmy. Shonda bursting into a loud, uncontrollable, snorting, howling laughter on Jimmy's very first joke. Laughter and snorting that gets louder and louder and louder, and laughter I know can't be stopped. That I have no chance of stopping, despite the absurdity of laughing hysterically in front of Jimmy and Jimmy's live studio audience. A fact which makes me scream with laughter, louder and louder, harder and harder, until the hiccups come. You can die from hiccups. For real, I'm a fake doctor who writes fake medicine for TV, so I know stuff, and I am telling you, we killed Miranda's stepmother with hiccups. And that could happen to me. I could laugh until I hiccuped and die. I could die on live TV, literally die. Do you want me to do that to Jimmy? Do you want me to make Jimmy the guy who killed a guest? I think not. You know what else you don't want to see? Shonda having spontaneous fear snot shoot out of my face. Fear snot. Snuff said. All this thing could happen if I were to go on live TV. They are all not good things. These are bad things. Bad things. You may think I'm exaggerating or trying to be funny. Does fear snot sound funny to you? Close your eyes and imagine it shooting out of your face in front of 12 million people. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. Okay, I've never had fear snot, but I'm the kind of person who would get fear snot. It would happen to me simply because it would be terrifying. It would be horrifying. That is how the universe likes to treat me, teach me, keep me in line. I'm the girl who splits her pants and does not notice the breeze. I'm the woman who forgets to cut the price tag off my dress and walks around with it stuck to my back so that everyone can see not only how much I spent, but also what size I am. For an entire dinner party, I'm the one who spills, who trips, who drops. I once accidentally flung chicken bone across the room at a very elegant cocktail party while trying to make a point. Did you hear me? I flung a chicken bone across the room at a cocktail party. While everyone stared at the chicken bone on the white carpet, I pretend the culprit was not me. True story. You can't take me anywhere. You certainly can't take me somewhere then film me live in front of millions of people. Because if there's a fear snot, if there was a fear not to had, I will have it. And Chris knows this. He knows what could happen on the live TV. He knows how I feel about the TV. He just doesn't care. He doesn't have time for fear snot. He's trying to help me build a career here. Against my will, over the years, every single time that Kimmel's people have asked me to be the guest on Jimmy Kimmel's Live, I've said no and no and no. I don't tell Kimmel's people that I'm saying no because live TV is a minefield. I don't tell them that I'm saying no because I'm afraid I'm accidentally Janet Jackson boob Jimmy, or pee on his sofa like an excited puppy, or fall on my face before I even make it on the sofa, or die. I don't say anything about any of that because I'm a lady, damn it. I just say no. Kimmy peoples are nice. When I see them on ABC events, they smile at me while I look at them with my statue face and my swirly eyeballs. Then I shuffle to the buffet table to put some food on top of my stress. I'm pretty sure the super nice kibble people think I'm an asshole. My publicist Chris doesn't think I'm an asshole. He thinks I'm a pain in the ass. To him, I'm the Cisflin ball he has been shoving up the same hill for years now. And yet he continues to believe, he continues to hope. He keeps hope alive. He uses buzzwords. Buzzwords we both know I can't just say no to. They want to do an hour-long Shonda special on final night. ABC's excited, it's elegant time for me. And ABC's right now. So I have to be team player. If I say no, I'm not being a good team player. All the athlete talk will have been for nothing. See, I'm in the middle of a negotiation for my next contract. You understand what I'm saying? Athlete talk has to mean something. We're still on the phone together. I'm silent. I'm hoping he'll get the hint. Hang up and call ABC and tell them I have the plague. A plague. It could happen. I could get a plague. I feel it coming on right now. Chris doesn't hang up. He never hangs up. He's silent. He waits me out. This is a contest we engage in frequently. Finally, as always, I speak first. I do not want to be on television ever, I remind him. Never, ever, for any reason. No one needs to see me. Why would anyone need to see me when they would be seeing Kerry Washington? I believe this deeply. Have you ever seen Kerry Washington? Kerry Washington is extraordinary. Kerry Washington just had a baby. Chris reminds me, right. Kerry is quite right, taking some much-needed bonding time with her new baby. Mother to mother, I feel solitary with her on that. Damn. Tony then. Belmay. Belmay is amazing. I start calling out the names of Scandal cast. Scandal actors. Chris takes a deep breath and he lists all the reasons why I should be on TV. These reasons make no sense to me. He may as well be speaking German, because I don't speak German, or that really cool Koshin language in Nambia. It's just a serious eclipse. I do not understand a thing you are saying. I holler. Why would I want to be more recognizable? That is the exact opposite of what I want to be. Make this go away. Chris is now likely contemplating whether it'll be more satisfying to sew a suit made out of my skin or simply scatter and chop up pieces of my corpse on the ocean. Maybe just thinking about helping me. Stephen King misery style. I wouldn't blame him. I fight him, but I wouldn't blame him. I mean, I am screaming at him. I'm actually screaming at him in a hysterical voice. Fear is taking over. I'm losing it. I can feel myself losing it, and part of me wants to hobble me too. Because, dude, when you become a person with any kind of power, don't ever become a person who screams, even in hysterical fear. The thing that you can do when you are bottom of the ladder changes as you move up. At the top of the ladder, doing many of those very same things makes you an asshole. I'm being an asshole. A very scared, very shy asshole. Chris is quiet for a long, long, long moment. He's going to place my head in a box like the guy did in Brad Pitt's Girlfriend 7. I know it. I don't want my head in a box. My head will not look good in a box. I listen nervously on the silence. But when he speaks, his voice has this calm tone of power and triumph. He's going to win, and he knows it. Here's why. Shonda, he says, I thought you were saying yes to everything, or was that just a big talk? Damn. Checkmate. Maybe I can put his head in a box. I thought saying yes would feel good. I thought it would feel freeing. Like Julia Andrews spinning around on the big mountaintop at the beginning of The Sound of Music. Like Angela Bassett when she's Tina Turner and she walks out of the divorce court and away from Ike with nothing but her name and what's love got to do with it. Like how you feel when you have just finished baking double fudge brownies but you have yet to shove one into your mouth. Starting the sugar rush roller coaster that won't end until you are curled up in a ball on the sofa. Rocking back and forth while scraping the crumbs off the empty brownie pan into your mouth and trying to talk yourself into believing that maybe the ex-boyfriend you dumped wasn't so bad after all. Like that. This yes does not feel like a post-baked, pre-eating brownie. I feel forced into this. I feel like I don't have a choice. My obligations to minority plus my obligation to my stupid year of yes idea has strapped me. My paw is caught in a trap. I can try to chew it off and run away. But if you think I'm whining now, try me. When I'm down a paw and I have just a bloody numb to deal with. The tears, the drama, the wailing and the moaning. The cross I would be nailing myself to would be so pretty and brightly lit. Oh, my cross wouldn't be missed by anyone. You see my cross from space. The numbing fear is starting to creep over me. This is going to be a terrible experience. It's going to eat me alive. My left eye starts to twitch. I tell myself that it's okay, because it's a twitching only in what I'm sure in the tiniest, most unnoticeable way. Nobody can tell it was twitching but me. Wow, your eye really is twitching, Jonah Orator, head writer at Grey's Anatomy, informs me with great authority. The whole writing staff crowds to peer at my eyeball jumping around in my head. Honey, my toddler Emerson takes my face in hands and gravely informs me, your eye is broken. It's busted, honey. This is not going to be okay. This is not what yes is supposed to feel like. If it is, this is going to be the longest year of my life. Later that same week, I'm sitting on the sound stage at Grey's Anatomy, cranky as hell. It's not enough that my eyeball is still twitching merrily away. It's season 10. Sandra Oh is leaving the show. As we move closer to her final episode, every scene with her begins to feel more and more special. We're all very aware that rare talent is soon going to be walking out that door. I've come to set for the rehearsal of the big scene to help close Christina's storyline. Aisha Washington has returned to do us the honor and favor of scrubbing in as Preston Burke. Right now in the scene, Preston is telling Christina that he's giving her his hospital, like Willy Wonka giving away the chocolate factory. It's the biggest moment of the show for Christina, the culmination of 10 seasons of character growth. She stands face to face with a man she almost destroyed herself loving. She had lost herself in his orbit, revolving around him, desperately in need of his son. She had made herself small to accommodate his greatness. Now she has suppressed him, and he's paying his respect. He has come to praise her. The chocolate factory is hers, if she wants it. One half of Twisted Sister is getting her fairy tale ending. She's being offered what she was earned. She's being recognized for her brilliance, and she's being rewarded for it. Her dreams come true. It may not be a fairy tale ending anyone else would want for her, but Christina does not give a damn. Frankly, neither do I. Christina deserves her joy. This is what joy looks like to women with genius. And as I watch Sandra Oh's face tell a whole story, as she brilliantly gives nuisance to the moment Christina realizes Burke is handing her the keys to the kingdom, I realize why Christina's journey can end. I realize why it's time to let this character go and be happy for her. Christina has learned what she needs to know. Her toolbox is full. She has learned not to go off the pieces of herself that she needs in order to be what someone else wants. She learned not to compromise. She learned not to settle. She learned, as difficult as it is, how to be on her own son. She learned not to settle. She learned, as difficult as it is, how to be her own son. If only real life was so simple. But my eyes stop twitching, and I pick up the phone and I call Chris. Janet Jackson and Boop, I tell him. Fierce not, chicken bone. This long silence while Chris perhaps worries that I have had a stroke. Huh? It can't be live. I will do Jimmy Kimmel, but it can't be live, I say firmly. I can hear Chris breathing in and out. He's going to eat my kidney liver with a fine wine. Let me get this straight, he says straight. You'll be on Jimmy Kimmel live as long as it's not live? He says he's speaking to a crazy person. Maybe he is. But I just watched Christina Yang get her chocolate factory. I'm playing bold. I'm not compromising. I don't need to settle. Exactly. I tell him. If I have to be on TV, if I have to do something as crazy as Kimmel, we're going to do it my way or we don't do it at all. See? I'm picking all my pieces. I don't want brownies. I want a whole damn chocolate factory. Yes. Should feel like the sun. I have no idea how it happened, for what conversation took place, or whose baby she had to steal, or what favor I know now owe to what stranger, or which warlord I am now betrothed to. I do not know, and I do not care. Chris did it. The man made rain, which is how the week before the scandal's finale aired, I found myself sitting at the set of Pope in Association with Jimmy Kimmel, filming an hour-long, not live special called Jimmy Kimmel Live behind the Chandelabra? Scandelabra. Excuse me. Jimmy was incredibly nice to me. He told funny stories and asked me about my children while he waited for the camera to roll. Before every take, he patiently told me what was going to happen next, and then he told me that then he told me the very same thing again, like he knew I had a brain of a very demented senior citizen who would only remember 2 or 3 words at a time. He kept asking me if I was okay, and if he thought it was weird that I became a block of solid wood and could not seem to both walk and talk while the camera was rolling. He kept to himself. He simply arranged it so I never had to walk and talk at the same time. In fact, he made it so I barely had to talk. I'm serious. Go online, watch it. What am I doing? Smiling, trying really hard to not look directly into the camera, laughing at Jimmy's jokes, holding a really big glass of while Scott fully pours wine into it, looking directly into the camera even though I've been told not to a lot, laughing at Jimmy's jokes some more. Jimmy did all the work. I did not do anything, and yet he made it seem like I did stuff. Everyone thought I did all kinds of stuff, so he did all the work and I got all the credit. Like when a baby pops, everyone fawns over the baby. Now, who is the one cleaning up the poop? Not the baby, I can tell you that. But no one is fawning over the person carrying that smelly diaper to the trash. I think I just likened myself to a popping baby. Likened it myself as a popping baby. But you get my point. Jimmy did all kinds of amazing things to make me look good. And because Jimmy does this show all the time and it's always amazing, everyone just nodded and smiled at him. But because there was a very good chance that there would be fierce nod and chicken posts surrounding me, I got standing ovations from everyone I know. I got calls, I got emails, got tweets and Facebooks and all social media things people get. The next day I got the biggest delivery of red roses ever. Like horse winning the Kentucky Derby big. They came in a giant silver vase, a vase so huge and heavy that it took 3 men to carry it into the house. My daughter Harper tried counting the red roses but lost interest after 98. The dozens and dozens of red roses were from Jimmy. He wasn't proposing marriage. The ratings had come out. Jimmy Kimmel's live beat The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon for the very first time ever with the episode. That was the nicest thing. Kimmel beat Fallon, which meant Kimmel was right to keep asking me to be on the show, and Chris was right to force me to do it. And guess I was right to ask that it be taped, because I do not know how the results would have been if this would be the same if I had been unable to come on live. Try again. Kimmel beat Fallon, which meant Kimmel was right to keep asking me to be on the show, and Chris was right to force me to do it. And I guess I was right to ask that it be taped, because I do not know if the results would have been the same if I had been unable to come out on live TV because I was having a full-scale meltdown in the corner of Jimmy Kimmel's live dressing room. But it did not matter to me, not really. I mean, I was grateful that Jimmy was happy. I was grateful that I hadn't messed up on his show. But overwhelmingly, I could only think about one thing. I did it. I said yes to something that terrified me, then I did it. I didn't die. There's a crack in the pantry door, a sliver of light coming in. I can feel a bit of warm sun on my face. I wander over to Chris. Thank you, I mumble. What? I didn't hear you. Thank you, Chris grins triumphantly. He heard me the first time. You know he did. I know he did. We all know he did. But I don't mind. Fierce not, chicken bones, Adele does mean. What do I care? It happened. I did it. And I kept all my pieces. Yes, does feel like the sun. Maybe I'm building my own damn chocolate factory. The end.